Humble, hardworking, integrity, caring, family. These are the words that exemplify two brothers, Ewart and Edwin McLaughlin. The brothers have a passion for their work and are always creating opportunities to better their community. The brothers are both influencers and changemakers in their profession. Through their leadership and guidance, E&E Enterprise has flourished. Along with their professional achievements, the brothers' willingness to share their vast knowledge with the next generation sets them apart. Both Ewart and Edwin spent the early part of their business life exploring different opportunities. Edwin owned a small excavating company, and Ewart dabbled in cattle hauling and farming auctioneering. But in 1979, they came together to start an unlikely business, a cheese shop, followed later by the manufacturing of frozen entrees.
We started out at the cheese house. They thought, well, if the cheese was selling so well that maybe they could make some pizzas, and they started making pizzas and they sold so well, Ewart decided that maybe they should buy some refrigerated trucks and put the pizzas on the road. So they went out and sold them to all the little towns in southern Ontario. We had quite a route, and that was going so well they decided that maybe they'd add some entrees to that, like lasagna and cabbage rolls and stuff, and that went really well. So they ended up buying a building in Tillsonburg and refurbishing it, making it into an assembly line, and put some apartments and stuff upstairs.
After dabbling in the retail cheese industry, they set their sights on something bigger and more challenging. They shifted their focus to the warehouse business in 1984.
They bought the first warehouse in Woodstock. I don't know how they found out about it or whatever. They just did, and it was an old factory of some kind, and they just cleaned it all out and changed it into warehousing, and that was plant number one.
It would be in the mid-1990s. I had a listing in Delhi. Delhi was a former Benson & Hedges tobacco building, 500,000 square feet on approximately 30 acres. It was a mess. I mean, there was no windows left in it, all the copper had been stolen, multi-story, everything that you wouldn't want in an industrial building, it had. I call them building recyclers, and I've seen them do it many, many times. Take I would suggest a property that no one would give the time of day and convert it into something magnificent.
One of the genuine and sincere traits of the brothers is paying it forward. During their transition to the warehousing industry, they realized that they could not keep their focus on the concrete and excavating businesses they owned. They recognized the strength of their key employees and wanted to give them the opportunity to not only assist, but ensure the companies would continue to grow and retain the integrity of the brand.
So I worked for Ed in Ewart for a couple of years, which was called East Elgin Concrete. I always bugged them about owning it, and then I was there for a couple of years, and Ed and Ewart called me up and said they wanted to have a meeting with me, and they sold me shares. At that time, there was 3 owners. Well, Ed, Ewart, and John. They sold me their shares of the company, which led to me taking it over. They helped me out financially. It was very exciting for me at a young age. And from there, proceed to 5 years later, they called me up one day and said, we know you really want the ready-mix plant. It's part of what you do. We've kind of moved heavy into warehousing, so they gave me first opportunity to buy the ready-mix plant, which I own now. They have something about them that makes you get up every morning and be good at what you do. They make you drive. For me, they make me drive to succeed. Failure to them is it's not a word.
Both Edwin and Ewart have leadership skills that have been developed organically. They put their trust in the employees. They give them an opportunity to grow and thrive within the organization. The harder we work, the luckier we get. And with each day, the brothers still believe in this philosophy.
But they do it. They step up. If they tell you they're going to do something, they'll do it.
Well, I got a call from them to do the appraisal on actually this building here, the RJR building in Tillsonburg. And they had purchased it from the tobacco manufacturer, and we're in the process of converting it over to various warehouse and retail and alternative uses. So they wanted me to come in and do it. Now, the funny part of the story is when I came in to do it, I looked at all the lease information that they had and I asked for copies of the leases. And according to them, they don't have any leases because everything is done with a handshake. So I fully understood that concept because they're old school boys. But I informed them that they would need to get leases for the lenders and before anybody would give them the kind of money they were looking for. So 2 weeks later, I ended up with leases for all of the property.
The brothers have a deep sense of giving back. The fact that they can assist in helping, however big or small, comes from the heart.
Well, they're very committed to the community. An example would be the Tilsonburg Kinsman Club, who does great work in the community. They bought the Bridges Golf Course and done great work there. They bought the Delhi building, Benson and Hedges, had a soccer field attached to it. They allowed the community to continue on with the soccer after their purchase.
Business acumen runs through the McLaughlin family, with Edwin's son Paul and Ewart's daughters Catherine and Cassandra being given a moral compass to keep the integrity of the business for future generations and employees. The brothers continue to share their learned knowledge with the rest of the family as well, where the next generations have set their sights on the ice cream industry and other food-related businesses.
The real testament to them is what they've created with their family and their children. I mean, how many people have 19 grandchildren or 6 grandchildren? And all their children are hard workers the same way. They all have their own businesses. And the grandkids, your grandkids raise turkeys at Christmas and pick up eggs in the morning. And
Edwin and Ewart McLaughlin, same goals, same vision, same values, same principles, a lifetime of unconditional brotherhood. It is with great pleasure that we honor Edwin and Ewart McLaughlin with their induction into the Junior Achievement London and District Business Hall of Fame.